I am here at GenCon 2018 with Francesco Nepitello, who is the designer of a role-playing game that was published in Italy a long time ago. In fact, I used to play when I was a teenager back then, when it came out in first edition 25 years ago, in the garage of a friend of mine. And now finally there is an edition, not just a revamped edition, redesigned edition, but also finally an edition in English so that other people can enjoy this role-playing game too, which is unique for a variety of things, both the theme and the mechanics. So Francesco, can you tell us a little bit about Lex Arcana in general for those that don't know anything about the game? And then can you tell us about the second edition?
Yes, Lex Arcana was possibly the most popular RPG at the time in Italy, with the exception of D&D. It's been a winning choice for us at the time. It was designed by me, MarcoOmnigamer, my current co-designer, and Dario De Toffoli and Leo Colovini. Leo Colovini in particular is very well known as one of the most prolific board game designers in Italy, still doing games. It was a very good meeting of minds, let's say. We made a game that was really very, very playable. It is still considered one of the best introductory games in its first edition incarnation, and it went on to enjoy a good number of years of success. We added a number of supplements, and then we met the rising of trading card games, and the market changed, and role-playing games were not really the fashion anymore. Now that role-playing games are enjoying quite a big return, everyone is playing the new edition of D&D, and whenever a new edition of D&D is a success, all the rest of the role-playing game market enjoys, basks in the light of D&D. We started developing a second edition with a new company, Quality Games, that has interpreted the necessity of changing a game that, yes, was 25 years old, but had very strong foundations.
And people were still playing it, although there hadn't been new adventures or modules in quite a while. People in Italy were still playing it.
Yeah, when we started promoting the game in social media, we found out that there were pages on Facebook, pages on the web, and people still discussing and playing the game. People writing stories. So it's very much something that struck a chord in the Italian players, and we think that since the popularity of Roman history or movies about the historical subject, we think that our take on Roman fantasy can have the same effect on the international market.
Excellent. Can you tell us exactly a little bit more about the setting, which is Roman fantasy, something that many English-speaking role players may have never been exposed to?
Yes, normally fantasy is very much connected to the mythology of the northern countries of Europe, so more Scandinavian, and of course connected to the stories of Tolkien. We decided at the time to make a game that had its roots in the mythology of our own country, of the Mediterranean, but trying to avoid those naive elements of Greek and Roman mythology that never made it particularly palatable for fantasy fans. Instead of making stories about the whimsical wills of the gods, we decided to make a game where mythology is very much like the Cthulhu mythos is in a modern game. So the supernatural exists, magic exists, and they pose a potential threat to the unity of the empire. And that's why the emperors have always tried to have a firm grasp on magic, becoming giving to the Roman Empire basically the dominion over magic, also in addition to the military dominion they had. And this is exactly the task of the players, because the players in Lex Arcana are members of a special part of the Praetorian Guard devoted to the study of magic and to the investigation of supernatural events.
So they are supernatural investigators in ancient Rome.
Yes, one of the ways that was really handy to describe Lex Arcana in the past was to say that it's the X-Files during the Roman Empire, because you're doing exactly that. You're sent on missions and you're sent to see what's going on and find a way to repair the problem. Especially because the custodes of the Corps Arcana are the wardens of magic in the Empire, do have to act not as soldiers that have to make to report to their superiors. They have to take the decisions in their own hands and act accordingly. So they are closest in a way to the heroes of mythology rather than to the legionaries of the legions. But then again, the structure of the empire is behind them, so it can happen that they find the threat that is too much for them to handle, and they might appeal the local legatus of the legion to send the troops in and solve the problem.
Now, can you tell us a little bit about the mechanics, some of the main mechanics of the game?
Yes, I think that one interesting thing is that the dice mechanics behind the game stood the passage of time, and the recent playtests here at GenCon testify it, because all the players that we had here loved the system, in addition of loving also the background. Has been devised, as I said, together with Leo Colovini. Leo is really a master of game mechanics. We know some of it too, but he's really good. And at the time, he was the expert in the group. We were very young. And basically, the basis of the game is that you have dice points. Every characteristic in the game, be it strength or dexterity or skills, is expressed with a numerical value, and the numerical value corresponds to one die or a combination of dice. To expert players, I may say that it looks a bit similar to Savage Worlds, but actually it is really different. It's more flexible than that system, because if you, for example, have a score of 20 in an ability, you could roll a d20, or you could roll 2 d10s, or you could roll a d12 and a d8. Basically, this also has a reflection on the game world, by meaning that if you are rolling more dice, you are having a cautious approach to something, because your die results will tend to yield an average, a flatter average. If you roll a single die, it's a wilder result. You're trying to score. You're trying to attack. Being all out offensive, but of course you might pay the consequences of your recklessness.
Excellent. And so here you have a quick starter guide that you're presenting here. Can we have a look at it? So you got a sense of the...
I'm very proud of the quick starter that Quality Games was able to put together in time for GenCon. It will be soon available as a PDF. It is a 50 pages booklet, completely playable.
So it is already like a standalone game?
Yes, it has a complete set of rules inside. You don't get to create your characters. You will have to use pre-gens that are included here. But you see the first 15 pages are the rules, including some of the new rules we're developing for second edition, but mostly this corresponds to the rules of first edition.
Okay.
And then there's a full adventure occupying the rest of the 50 pages, so it's more of 30 pages of adventure. It could be considered a sort of mini campaign, because if it's going to be played on a detailed level, it's going to take a while to complete. It's a campaign set in the provinces of Gallia, and involving the wrath of gods and the consequences of the will of
goals.
gods.
You can never trust them. They're always up to something.
And here are the characters for the pre-gens. We're also very proud of the graphic design of the game.
Very nice. That's very nice.
The artwork is really good. Every character comes complete with a biography and stats.
So when and where will the PDF be available?
The PDF is available already by going to the website of the company or on the Facebook page, and writing an email to.
Excellent. And when do you expect the full game to be available, and where will people be able to get it?
We are already working on the full version of the rules and the full content of the text. It is going to be available. We'll need to see how production goes, because we are making a Kickstarter exactly for that, to see how far we can go for as far as the budget for artwork, the number of pages, and so on. We have a lot of things in mind, as special dice for the game, stretch goals involving additional adventures by well-known writers. We already have the contacts to do that, and everyone is very much in love with the background, and they already have started to think about adventure seeds and maps. The possibilities are a lot. So
Excellent.
that will affect a bit, but it will be definitely within the following year, in 2019. I think might be for fully done for next GenCon.
Excellent.
But
So,
of course, first be available to backers.
excellent. Thank you very much for telling us about Lexicon. I'm personally very excited, and I hope that people at home will have gotten a good idea what's in store for them if they also decide to look further into Lexicon. Thank you.
Thank you, Marco.